Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, it's never enough? Like everyone else is born with something you'll never have? I used to feel that every single day. I was just a kid, quirkless, powerless. All I had were dreams that felt too big for the body I was born into. And let me tell you, that pain, that feeling of being invisible in a world that only sees strength, it can break you. They laughed at me, told me to stop pretending, told me I'd never be a hero. Even the ones who cared about me looked at me with pity, and there were moments, quiet moments, where I believed them, where the voices in my head were louder than the dream in my heart. I would stare at my notebook full of heroes and think, maybe that's all I'll ever be. A fan, a spectator, never the one on the field. But you know what changed everything? It wasn't just getting a quirk. It wasn't some magic flip of destiny. It was the decision to move forward anyway. Before I got one for all, before All Might looked at me, before anyone believed in me, I had to believe in myself first. That's the hardest part. Looking at yourself when you're weak, when you're broken, and choosing to keep walking forward anyway. That's the part nobody teaches you. Being a hero isn't about having flashy powers or perfect confidence. It's about what you do when it hurts, when it burns, when it feels like you've hit the ground so hard that getting up again will break you even more. That's where it matters most. There's something terrifying about being the only one still standing when everyone else gave up. It's lonely. It's painful. And the truth is, sometimes you're not even sure if standing is the right thing anymore. But what I've learned, the hardest way possible, is that standing up alone is still standing up. It still matters. There were times when I wanted to scream, times when my arms were shattered, my legs numb, my lungs refusing to breathe, and in those moments, all I had was one thought. If I stay down now, what happens to the people who can't protect themselves? That was always the turning point. That's where my strength came from. Not from muscle, not from quirk, from responsibility. People think heroes are fearless, but that's not true. I've been afraid more times than I can count. Fear never goes away, not completely, but you can learn to carry it. You can learn to run toward the danger anyway, with fear riding on your back. That's courage. That's what makes your heart beat like a war drum. That's when you know you're alive for something greater. Where I first received One for All, I thought it would instantly make me worthy. I thought the power would carry me, but I was wrong. The power doesn't make the hero, the heart does. And I had to earn that. Every day. Through discipline, through pain, through moments where I could barely crawl, let alone run. And that process? It wasn't quick. It wasn't glorious. It was slow, exhausting, and often invisible. There were no cameras cheering me on, no spotlight, just me, on the ground, failing again and again, and choosing to rise even when no one else saw it. That's the truth that no one talks about. Becoming stronger isn't some epic moment. It's in the early mornings when your body aches. It's in the nights when you collapse from training, unsure if anything's even changing. It's in the silence when you have to keep believing, even when progress feels invisible. Every muscle I tore, every fall I took, every drop of blood on the ground, it all built something inside me. Something no quirk could ever give me. A foundation of willpower, of grit, a spine made of the words, I will not quit. I didn't know it back then, but that's what One for All was truly testing. Not just how strong I could punch, but how deeply I could dig when I had nothing left to give. How far I'd go when no one was watching. How much of myself I'd give, even if it meant breaking. Because being a hero isn't about showmanship. It's about sacrifice. It's about choosing pain today so someone else can smile tomorrow. It's about burning for something bigger than yourself. People think a hero's power comes from their ability, but I've seen people with incredible quirks run from fear, and I've seen someone with nothing run toward it. That's the difference. That's the line that separates potential from purpose. Every battle I've faced has been a mirror, not just of my strength, but of my resolve. Was I fighting for attention? Or for something greater? Was I just swinging blindly? Or was I protecting something sacred? I had to find that answer again and again. In every broken bone, in every trembling breath, in every decision to get back up. And I realized that answer was never about proving something to others. It was always about proving it to myself. That I was the kind of person who doesn't stop. That I was the kind of person who fights with everything, even if it means losing. That I was the kind of person who, even without a quirk, even without applause, chooses to rise anyway. And when I finally understood that, something changed. My punches hit harder. My vision got clearer. The path didn't seem easier, but it felt real, because I knew I wasn't faking it anymore. I was becoming who I was always meant to be. Your journey is going to be messy. You'll make mistakes. You'll hurt. You'll lose people. You'll doubt yourself. But those moments, those exact moments, are what shape your true strength. They're not the end of your story. They're just the chapters that make the ending worth it. We don't become strong instead of being broken. We become strong through being broken. It's about being honest with yourself. Honest enough to say, I'm hurting, but I'm still here, and I will rise. And that honesty, that's where the power begins. There's no shortcut to becoming the person you want to be. No fast forward through the pain. No cheat code for courage. You have to live every second of it. The good, the ugly, the impossible. Because every second is building the foundation of the hero you're meant to be. You'll see others rise faster. You'll feel left behind. But your path isn't slower, it's deeper. It's carving a core inside you that won't break when the world shakes. When your time comes, you won't just rise, you'll be unbreakable. That's what real power is. The people who struggle the most often have the most powerful stories. Because they've lived what it means to fall. And more importantly, they've learned what it means to rise anyway. You want to be a hero? Start by not quitting, ever. Start by being the person who chooses to try again, when it's the hardest thing in the world. Because that person, the one who keeps going, even when everything screams give up, that person changes the world. Not in a flash of light, not all at once, but little by little, choice by choice, step by painful step. That's how legends are born. Because I've been there. Bruised, crying, bodies screaming in pain, and still choosing to crawl forward. Not because I wanted to be famous, not because I needed to prove something, but because someone out there needed help. And if I didn't stand up, who would? I want you to hear me right now. You who are tired. You who feel like giving up. I've been there. And I'm telling you, you have more strength than you think. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be scared. But don't you dare let that stop you. Pain is not your enemy. It's your teacher. And fear is not the end. It's the beginning of courage. Every scar you carry means you survived. Every time you've been knocked down, you learned how to rise. You are not weak for struggling. You are strong for still standing. Even if the world says you're not enough, you don't stop. Because you're writing your story right now. Every breath you take, every step you choose, you're becoming your own kind of hero. I've fought villains that could crush mountains. I've seen people with power beyond imagination. But the greatest strength I've ever known is the human heart that refuses to quit. Stand up, even if your legs shake, even if your voice trembles, even if you've failed 1,000 times. You're still here. You're still breathing. And that means you still have a chance to rise. I don't care if you fall 100 times, as long as you get up 101. That's what makes a hero. That's what makes you unstoppable. So scream it with me, right here, right now. I will never give up. Not today, not ever. Because the fire inside me was never meant to die. You've made it this far, through the doubt, through the pain, through the voice in your head telling you to quit. And maybe you think no one notices how hard it's been. Maybe you think your effort doesn't matter. But I'm here to tell you, it does. Every second you didn't give up, you became stronger. Every time you stood back up, you became braver. Every breath you took after being knocked down was proof you're not finished yet. The world may never fully understand what you've been through, but you do. And that's what makes your story powerful. You're not weak, you're not broken, you're becoming. Because even if your hands shake, even if your body is scarred, even if your past screams that you should stay down, you still rise, you still fight, you still choose to burn instead of disappear. That's heroism, right there. That's what separates people who only dream from those who become. You don't need the spotlight. You don't need the cheers. You need fire. You need heart. You need the will to keep going no matter what. So this is it. No more waiting. No more doubting. No more holding back. Whatever your dream is, whatever your mission is, you run toward it now with everything, with every piece of who you are, because you have what it takes. I believe it. And deep down, you believe it too. That's why you're still here. That's why you haven't quit. That's why your story is still being written. So rise, scream, break your limits. And when fear tries to chain you down again, you look it in the eyes and say, I am not afraid of falling. I'm afraid of never trying. You've got one shot, one life, one chance to become everything you've ever dreamed of. So give it all you've got. Smash through your doubts, blaze your path, and go beyond